everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Shoe Podcast, the only sneaker podcast where the morning routine includes waking up at 3 a.m. and rubbing a banana peel all over your face. I'm your co-host, Ryan Landry.
I'm your co-host, Tanner Young.
I saw a very informative TikTok over the weekend. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I'm following a routine now. That's right.
Hey, do a couple push-ups, dip your face in some
bottled water.
Very expensive bottled water.
Shout out the free promo they got out of that, huh?
I don't think it was free. It can't be free.
But you got to wonder. I don't know. I saw outside of that video, I saw a whole separate video dissecting that video. And I don't know if we want to get into the weeds of it here of like how staged it is or is not. But yeah, anyways. Welcome back.
My first thought was, does he live there? You know, sorry. Okay.
In that place, he wanted to sneak one past the goalkeeper right before the buzzer there. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed our midweek episode. What a fun time that was.
Oof.
Hopefully by now you got the bit. Hopefully you got the joke by now. I'm curious to see how it landed. We're recording what you're hearing now. We're recording this right after recording that and before that has released. So as of right now, we don't know how it did. Maybe it flopped terribly, but we had fun.
It was great. I had no idea. We had discussed some things for it. And then, Ryan put together that, which was hilarious. Hilarious. The Nigels, very good. Travis Scott's, again, was tough because my brain is looking, I'm like, I feel like that's a real shoe.
It looks like everything else he's done. Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So then that one was great. And then, I'm on Meunier. Again, seeing it, you see the picture and my brain goes, that seems right. And I was like, two less mean to right. Again, upset with myself by how long it took me to get to.
Took a minute to catch it. Yeah.
To get there. But no, bravo.
Is that more of a testament of how good of a job I'm doing making fake stories? Or is that more of a testament of where we're at with sneakers right now is so wacky that this stuff could all be believable? Or somewhere in between.
The most believable was the Nigels for sure.
Which is funny because that's the worst Photoshop mock-up I did, but yeah.
I think
but story-wise, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Could for sure.
Yeah.
It could work.
Yeah. Well, we got some a little bit of a slow week in sneakers, not too much like big news happening right now, but we're going to talk about a couple of headlines going around. Nike and Jordan Brand QC quality control for the nerds out there, issues with the Air Jordan 1 Low Obsidian. We're going to talk about the impact of micro-collabs and limited runs. So like these collabs that shops are doing limited to like 1,000 pairs, our thoughts on that. And the Nike ReactX Rejuven8, which I'll tell you right now, I hate the way it's spelled. Taking over right now, having a real moment in terms of popularity. Before we jump into all that, how are you? How's your week been? It's kind of tough. This is coming out on Friday, so not from the perspective of like Monday through Friday, because that hasn't happened yet. How was your weekend? Let's go there instead.
Not bad. It was tough. A lot of inside. We got a lot of rain.
Yeah, same.
So not a whole lot. Got a lot of laundry done. Randomly, just like me and Ashley went on this like cleaning kick. Like I was cleaning baseboards.
Wow. Yeah. I've been there. You know, it's one of those things. Here's my thing on baseboards and doors. If you've not like actually dusted and wiped down the doors in your house, those are the things that you do not consciously notice every day, but subconsciously when they're clean, you'll feel it. That's where I stand.
The baseboards for sure. And then the problem is I'll see them every now and again. And I'm like, but do I really want to get down there and do it?
Yeah.
Finally did. So that felt good. So, but like I said, a lot of inside time this weekend, which was not super great. And then let me tell you who really didn't appreciate my 4-year-old. Not super pumped.
Not a big fan of it. Yeah.
Not a big fan of it. So yeah, but it was nice. Friday night, we got dinner with my mom at Riverside Inn, and they sat us like right by they've got big windows looking out to like their like little mini swamp while the rain was coming in.
Yeah.
Real peaceful. Peaceful.
Cozy vibe. Fell asleep at the dinner table.
Real cozy style.
So there with the tape on your eyelids trying to keep them open?
No. I was taking the crayons and coloring my eyelids to look like my eyes. So I could just sit here.
Like a Looney Tune, yeah. Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
Made the most of it.
How about you? What'd y'all do?
Pretty locked in, except we didn't even make that much fun of it like you did. I've been playing a new video game lately. I guess we don't talk about video games a lot on here, but I've been playing a video game called Death's Store that I'm really enjoying now.
Wow, okay.
Not as intense as like a Hollow Knight, but along the lines of a Hollow Knight, of kind of like, I don't know if Metroidvania is the right term, but like you're running around a big map. You've got areas where like you can't get to yet, but you'll unlock something and come back on. Death's Store would recommend for any of the combat dungeon. It's not a my issue is I don't know all the video game terms. Just go look up Death's Store and you'll see if it's for you. There's the review. I haven't finished it yet, but it's really good.
Okay. All right. What was the price tag on it?
It was on sale when I got it. I'm a PC gamer, so I bought it on Steam in some sale probably forever ago. All the console gamers are like, I'm sorry, what are you doing right now? All the PC gamers are like, I know all too well that you have some catalog of games that I'll get around to. Yeah. I just got to buy it because it's cheap right now. It's one of those games. So like, I don't remember, but even at full price, it's probably not more than like $20 if I had to guess. It's like a little indie game. It's made by Devolver, which I think is a pretty popular studio. So worth checking out. I was not planning on reviewing it and talking about it. Otherwise, I would have done a little more research before I just hit record and did it. But that was what I did this week, and I played that game some more. I'm not done with it yet, but I'm hoping to finish it maybe by the time the episode's out.
Ayo.
We'll see. Well, you want to get into some shoes? I mean, it's late at night. I actually want to stay barefoot, but let's talk about some shoes at least, huh?
Oh, okay. All right.
He's getting clever with it.
Mentally get into some shoes.
First thing we want to talk about, Nike delayed the Air Jordan 1 Low Obsidian release due to quality control issues. Shout out Sneaker Politics. These are all your images. They look very good. Please let us use them. Thank you. So this was something I saw on the internet last week. Soul Savvy posted this, and according to them, quote, Nike delayed the release of the Air Jordan 1 Low Obsidian due to quality control issues related to severely misshapen toe boxes. Stores were asked to double check their inventory ahead of the new release date of March 29th. So obviously, by the time you're listening to this, right, the release has happened. You probably saw whatever shops you follow post about it. At least in this top-down shot from Politics right here, I don't see anything that looks like completely out of the norm here. Yeah, the term severely was kind of what threw me off a little bit here. And so I'll pull up the Soul Savvy post real quick because they pointed out in like the official product shots from Jordan brand, I guess where they thought this was. So give me 1 second. Let's see if this is what we're looking for. I guess it's kind of tough to see, but like, I guess you see a little bit of a dip right there. Here we go. Like a little bit of a close up.
Sure.
And there's their top down shot, which is like, yeah, the left one, you can see the mud guard on the right side looks thicker around it, around the inside of the shoe, as opposed to the right shoe, the mud guard looks pretty even all the way around. So I don't know. Maybe this is part of me getting older or part of me just like having relatively low standards. Even in those shots, I'm like, yeah, it looks a little wonky, but nothing to where I'm like, this is garbage. This is absolutely unwearably botched.
Yeah. Now, it could be one of those things where it is more of a when you feel it, because my hacky sacks that I have, I want to say it's like the left shoe, the pinky, like right on your like the pinky toe.
Nike SB Dunk High hacky sack.
Yes. Yeah. You can kind of tell, but when you wear it, it's almost like that material wants to literally just like dig into your shoe. So maybe it's something like that where it's like visually it's kind of hard to tell, but maybe whenever you're wearing them, you can. Honestly, with if anything, it just makes me happy to hear that Nike cares about quality control.
Kinda, yeah. That was the whole thing I wanted to talk about. So like Nike and Jordan brand, right, lately have definitely been taking heat, especially in recent years, for their decline in quality control. And so I think doing the double check before the pairs get out the door, shops, they end up in customers' hands, is a step in the right direction. But should that be falling on the shops to do that? Like, shouldn't Nike be catching these issues?
Well, I think Nike did. I guess it's just now, why did it come out after you had already shipped everything? That I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know that they did. I'm guessing a shop did, because if they caught it, if they caught it and it was truly bad enough, it might not have ended up at the shops. Maybe they saw it. They thought it wasn't that bad. It got to the shops. The shops are saying it's that bad. That
very well. I mean, that could be.
Yeah.
That absolutely could be. And Nike is just being like, hey, it's on us. It's not good. At least from the article, it seemed like it was just like, hey, this has been noticed.
Still a better call,
again, like I said,
than just getting them out the door, right? Like, agreed on that.
Exactly. Yeah. It is good. It's a good notice. I mean, again, is it, I guess, like you said, there's always two sides to the coin, where, you have the side that's like, hey, I'm glad that Nike is like, hey, let's push this release date back so that we can get the product that has a defect to it out to the shops to be able to go, which is great. And then obviously you have the flip side to that, which is, man, our quality control went from like, we're missing pretty bad glue to now it's like, you're not even making the shoe right.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's like they all get that quality control sticker on the inside of it. So I don't know. I feel like there's something just strange about it, of like, yeah, it's good that like the shops are doing the double check for you, but like that shouldn't be on them, like it's good to have them, but you shouldn't need to have them,
That is very true. Cause I mean, also like, how many shops are doing that? Like, how many shops are going through every box?
Yeah.
Opening it up, looking, things like that. Like, nobody's really doing that. So,
yeah.
And I wouldn't expect a shop to do that, because again, I mean, sure, when you buy a pair of shoes, you're going to like look at them like that, because it's like, oh, this is my shoe. And,
I was actually just about to ask you that. So the last time you bought a pair of shoes in person, they brought them to the register. Did you actually take them both out the box and like once over them? Or, because I feel like for me, when I buy a pair of shoes in person, they throw them in the box and I go home.
The last time I bought a pair of shoes, I did try them on in store. So technically, yes. But typically, no. Like, I'm not gonna, like, I may, like, again, they're gonna open the box. I'll look at, like, I'm be like, that is the shoe that I got.
Right.
And then that's it.
I'm not doing the 5-point inspection,
No,
like
no, I'm not the eBay authenticator,
At SneakerCon.
Yeah. I do. Now that I think about it, typically, like, probably whenever I get home and I have more time, I will
that's
kind
when
of
everyone
like,
does. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause even, the pair of New Balances, the vintage, that you had gifted me, I like sat there and like opened it up and was like, oh my God, admiring them and looking at them and stuff like that. So when I have the time and I'm home, I'll definitely give them a good once over.
There's probably also just a bit of a natural divide there between like the shoes that are so hyped and so popular that a lot of shops will not let you try them on, because they're like, if you don't like them, we're not going to be able to resell them, versus the shoes that are sitting on the shelves that like, yeah, that's fine if you want to try these on. So I guess naturally that stuff, if people are seeing issues with it that are that bad, they're catching it. And the rest of the stuff, people are already at home, they have them. And it's probably like, well, the quality is not as good as I would like to wear, but like I could resell these for whatever, like if it's some hype limited thing. So
yeah, or you're just so happy you actually won.
Right, exactly. That you're like,
have it, so
whatever.
You're like, okay, whatever. I'll take, Sure, I was expecting these to be, brand new, but okay, and they got a couple dents on them. Is that really, because then you start rationing, well, I am going to wear them and they are going to crease. And then, well, maybe when I wear it, I'll stretch this out or whatever it may be.
And I do think the rise in popularity of replica shoes has kind of turned a lot of sneakerheads or casual sneakerheads into like armchair quality control experts. Because like, when you're getting replicas, you're going back and forth with a factory or a middleman, and they're sending you pictures ahead of time for your approval. you can like green light or red light shoes of like, I don't like the toe box on this one. The vamp on this one looks off. And then people then start holding the brands to that same level of standard, which I mean, for $200, I've not wrong.
Should.
Right. You should be holding to it. But at the same time, I go back and forth between like, it's $200. It should be well made versus like, they're not hand making each pair. So it's not going to be like absolutely perfect. And if you're going to wear them, they're going to get beat up. So somewhere in between, I don't know.
It is tough. Especially when it comes to, I think, like QC for sure.
Yeah.
I guess probably, and realistically, I think more people would look at what the resale value is,
right,
compared to like the box price, because it's like, I'm gonna look more intently at these Dior ones and make sure that like each stitch is meticulous compared to like just a GR, Jordan 1 low or whatever.
These right here.
Be like, okay, yeah, you're gonna be like, all right, well, are they perfect? Maybe. No, I don't know. I bought these to just, to wear around campus. I don't really care,
Like you said, unless there's some like functional issue to where I'm feeling the defect and it's causing me discomfort, then like, let a slightly wonky toe box be what it is if you actually want to wear that shoe. Just my thoughts.
Exactly.
All right. Next topic, micro-collabs and limited runs. I don't know that they're actually called micro-collabs, but that's the best term I have for these.
Like
and this is not necessarily like a new thing happening this year, but I feel like we're seeing it happen pretty regularly and popularly this year. So first one at the beginning of the year was Undefeated and Nike on the Spiridon. They launched with that blue one, the Thunder Blue one, which was limited to just 1,000 pairs. I'm pretty sure it was in-store only at their California location. But then they followed it up with 2 more colorways, that black one, the black, green, and orange, which is like classic Undefeated colorway now, and that black and white one, which in my opinion, best of the 3. Very clean look.
Very good.
If you had to pick one of the 3, which would?
The black and white one for sure.
Yeah, I think it just looks really good. But this is a classic like Undefeated strategy. They did this last year on the Air Terra Humaras, and I fell for it hook, line, and sinker. Right where they did the all black and then the white and brown one, and I was like, oh, I want that white and brown one. And then 2 weeks later, like, surprise, here's like the cargo khaki one. I'm like, you got me. So
son of a gun.
But anyways, so they had this kind of like limited release to it. And then just earlier in March, Unheardof did a collaboration with Adidas on the Adistar Cushion 3, this pink colorway called the Pork Chop Piggy Runner. Love that for you. Limited to just 1,500 pairs. And then right before the release day, they announced, surprise, here's this blue pair limited to 1,000 pairs.
Oof.
Now, if you're like me, right, when you saw these coming out and you saw the branding and all the hearts and everything like that, you're like, what are we doing? I think Unheardof has done, I think the pig is like their mascot that they've incorporated into a lot of stuff. And so like, I thought it was just pink because of that, but then I saw the hearts and I was like, Valentine's stuff, but these are releasing at the end of March. I think, as I understand it, they were supposed to be a Valentine's Day release, but the California wildfires at the beginning of the year delayed them until late in March, which is a little bit tough from like, your average shoe that gets delayed a couple months and then can still come out. When you tie it to a holiday and you miss the release of that holiday, it gets really tough. But then again, the super limited nature of, there's only 1,000 pairs, like, yeah, that's fine. I don't care. This could be an Arbor Day shoe. I want it, Put some respect on Arbor Day, by the way. Yeah. All the trees listening.
Well, I guess it's not super bad because, I mean, like, at least from this one, like, you have, like, a set of similar little keychain. Outside of that, it's just a pink shoe. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of, like, heart, like, branding on it. So,
not on the shoe itself, yeah. I think the box, I think it comes with a crazy box. But, yeah, on the shoe itself, I think it's got the pig's 2 eyes on the heel of the shoe. But I'm not sure about the insole or outsole. But, again, to your point, you wouldn't really see that while you're wearing it.
So not, not crazy, but I mean, again, you're like, oh, hey, psych, here's a friends and family, I guess. Colorway with that
pairs?
blue one.
Yeah. I think that was more limited only for the release. Does the blue one kind of remind you of a sour gummy worm, or is it just me? The blue and red, the trolley sour gummy worms?
Now let's just say it.
I saw it and I was like, I want to take a bite out of this shoe. But I don't think you can.
There was something that was drawing me more towards that blue colorway, and I think you could take a bite out of it.
Yeah.
If you just put your mind to it.
I will say the all pink one, the all pink one, kind of feeling it a little bit. Not something that I could personally wear all that much. Maybe I do think underneath the 3 stripes there, that kind of banding that goes along the side, looking a little ASICS-y on top of the mesh. Like, you know how the ASICS logo on their shoes has like those real, it's the ASICS logo, but long and exaggerated. Looks a little bit like that, especially coupled with that big mesh on there. So I don't know, maybe that's kind of part of what's drawing me to it, is that feels kind of like fashionable right now. But the pink one, I kind of dig. Again, not for me, but like for an all pink shoe, I surprisingly liked it. But anyway, so I wanted to talk about these 2 different collaborations that have happened this year and sort of the whole purpose behind like micro-collabs and like, we're going to do a collab, but it's only going to be 1,000 pairs or something like that. Do we think that micro-collabs are just like a cool way for shops to reward their local customers and the most diehard fans? Like, is this like a cool, like almost friends and family-ish sort of thing, but like people actually have a chance to purchase them typically if you're in the area? Or, a little bit cynical, a little bit pessimistic here, is it just a way for brands to generate like this inordinate large amount of hype around releases that sneakerheads otherwise would not have cared about? If there were however many pairs of this all pink Adistar 3 and you could go get them and they were sitting at Champs, or like if the Spiridon was at every retailer in the US, it obviously, right, I think would not be moving the way it is at 1,000 pairs. So is the limited way just the way to be like, look at how cool the Spiridon is, or look at how cool the Adistar Cushion 3 is, before then we pump out a bunch of GR colorways of it?
Both?
Yeah, I guess both.
I guess really the thing is like, okay, if you are going to be doing these like super limited, kind of like you said, like micro style, if it's in-store only, then I do kind of like that. Cause then it's like, hey, we're just like, it's just a way to, if you're here and you've been shopping with us, then like, this is just kind of the way that, you know, we want to do it. Which is super cool. Obviously, if it's like an online raffle style, then I think it's more into like the latter point that you had, which was, I just need to generate hype for this. And the easiest way to generate hype for this is to have something super, super limited.
Yeah.
And not only have it super limited, but either right before or right after I hit you with another super limited. So then you're like, oh man, I couldn't get this. Oh, okay. Well, so soon after that hype, I'm still kind of on it. Another super limited release. Right. Oh, well, now I can trick my brain and be like, well, the people who got the other pair, they wouldn't want this one as well, right?
Better chances.
Wrong.
Yeah. And again, this is nothing new for 2025. This has been like happening in sneakers for a long time now, of like small release. Oh, get you all excited. You can't actually get it. Pent up demand for whatever the next thing is. I don't even care, whatever the next thing is. So you kind of see it happening. I do think in the case of the Spiridons, the Undefeated, happily to see the Thunder Blue be the more limited one, and then the toned down colorways, the black one and the white one, be the more available afterwards. Just from a standpoint of someone who would, if there were any pair I'd want to get to wear and have a better shot at getting, I'd want it to be the white one. On the Adidas, I guess similar thing. They made 500 more of the pink pair than they did the blue pair. And I think 1,500 pairs for one shop, if they are just doing them in-store release, pretty decent amount of stock for like one shop to get to do a release, you know?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Minus whatever you've already taken out for, you know, friends, family, backdoor, whatever seating list you have to do and stuff like that. But still,
2,500 pairs.
Across both colors, 2,500 pairs. Yeah, that's not bad.
Good point. That's a real good stock. I if it is one thing, it's just like, hey, we just want to pay it forward and just do something really cool that's just for the people who have been supporting us throughout the years. I really like that. I think the minute you open it to online, then obviously that's where it's like, okay, Are you just trying to either move something that you think, or the brand, like, Nike or Adidas is like, I don't know how much is going to move, so we're going to limit it. Or like this, like weird, like pat on the back of like, oh, sold out in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. I think to your point, sorry, I'm just looking up right now. Okay. So in the case of Undefeated, it looks like you can still get the cargo khaki Spiridons, which I think of the 3 colorways, probably my least favorite.
Yeah.
And just to show, at least as of when we're recording this, size is 4.5 to 12. Size. Right. So like you can go get it. I think that's a cool thing to do. Smaller release at the shop for local fans, wider release online. But to your point, there's got to be enough for like people to actually have a shot at online. I think that was the issue a number of people had with these, the Unheardof, the pink ones, the Adistar 3. It's tough when you say we're going to do a release in person, and on this day, whatever's left is going to end up online. Like if you as the shop are not reserving an amount of shoes to be left for online, don't give people that false hope for like, we might have some left. Just keep an eye on the website. Cause then when they did release them on the website and they were sold out in like less than 20 seconds, now you've just upset a bunch of people who got their hopes up for nothing.
Yeah. But then I'm also just like, you're not going to sell 1,000 pairs of shoes.
Well, that's the thing, is that like, did they or did they not? Like, do you do the online release? How many pairs were there actually versus how much traffic did you want to drive to your website? For the people who missed the thing, who want to go look for the consolation prize, I don't know. Put the tinfoil hat on me, but I'm just saying there might be something to it.
Yeah, it is tough.
Yeah.
It's just because it could go either way so easily.
Right.
That's the hard part with the super, super limited. I mean, I think overall we both agree we're not super big fans of super limited. We both understand why brands and boutiques will do limited, but it's not something that gets me excited. If anything, it has like, I have like that like cynicism to me where I'm just like, okay,
they're all gone already. Yep.
Yeah. Not even gonna.
I get that.
Why even try? There's only 1,000 pairs.
Well, and especially when like, it's one thing to know that a release is limited, or to like feel that it's limited, like there's not that many made. It's a different thing when one of the headlines and one of the selling points of your collaboration is a numbered amount of pairs, right? Like when it's one thing to like, know they didn't make a lot of them and like, it's going to be hard to get them. It's one thing for the brand to tell you like, we made 500 and like, we did not make a lot. Isn't that interesting? I don't, like I don't think scarcity, advertising it as a selling point, that just feels kind of like it's a turn off for me,
Yeah, it's it's like, oh, hey, come to this final sale, and it's like, how long has this building been?
How long has this mattress warehouse been out of business?
Yeah.
I see the signs in the window every day I drive by here.
Yeah, if that is, I think if that is a major talking point, then I think to me that's a really big red flag. I think if it's more of like, you're just talking about, you're like, oh, hey, and by the way, like, we're only doing, 1,500, 2,000 pairs. Like, so just so you know, there's only going to be this much. Then I, to me, that is better. I think it is a lot of, kind of like the brand is like, hey, if you do want it, you're going to have to put in a little bit of extra legwork. Or kind of like you said, where it's like, I'm going to dangle the silver in front of you and be like,
yeah. Well, potentially hot take. If your shoe is cool enough, you don't need to tell people that you didn't make that many of it. You'll sell it out anyways.
I don't even know how much that might be a lukewarm take.
Maybe not that hot at all.
Maybe a warm bathwater take. You know what I mean?
Last side note on these. Did you see the campaign that Undefeated did when they announced the Spiridons? They had people jumping out of helicopters.
No.
You didn't see? Oh, man. Okay, hang on. Now I'm...
Last person I saw jump out of a helicopter was someone spreading seeds over the rainforest.
That sounds beautiful. I don't even have like a good like thing about that. I'm just like, oh, that sounds like you found a very fulfilling TikTok that you saw there. I'm happy for you.
It was very pretty.
Okay, hang on one second. Let me find it. It's got to be on their Instagram, right? I don't know how you missed that, but maybe I was just so obsessed with it. Of course, Instagram would be loading really slow right now. So, how's everyone? You getting excited for the weekend? Weekend's coming up. It'll be here before we know it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the Boudin Festival. We're gonna be, we're selling parking spots at the school to raise money for children with autism. So, specifically the children who go to the school.
I'm now getting texted a code to log into Instagram. This bit is taking a good bit longer than I thought it would. I'm normally not logged in to Instagram on chat. I'm using Firefox now for when we do the podcast. Ad blocker and Google Chrome stopped working, and that's crucial for our show here.
Boo! Google Chrome sided with the elites.
Yeah.
Who would have seen that one coming?
A shocker to all of us. Okay. Long rewind.
Hey, there we go.
No, come on. Okay, hang on. We got to find a better one. Show the bottom of the helicopter with the Undefeated and the Nike swoosh on it, and they're out there in the Spiridons. Yeah.
Okay, I might have seen this.
Me checking the likes to see if you liked it already. Look at that. The fact that they got the shot of the shoes up close in the air. Insane.
Like, are they upright or are they upside down?
It's all perspective. Yeah, see, this was insane campaign and release behind these. So anyways, there's a whole
fucking up that shoe.
There's a whole 10 minutes on like, are micro-collabs good? Can we just see through the marketing and like, yo, you saw they jumped out a helicopter? Okay, that is sick though. What other secret release?
Give them a Red Bull can.
Right. What other shop is doing that like out of the helicopter? Okay.
I mean, when you put it in that sense, they should have made 2 pairs.
Last topic here. And the headline of this episode, did Nike just rip off Crocs? Okay. So, a little bit of backstory for you here. The Nike ReactX Rejuven8. Let me tell you, audio listeners, visuals too, it's not on the screen. Let me tell you how they're spelling Rejuvenate. REJUVEN, the number 8. Rejuvenate. Nike, come on. We can do better than that.
Was this 2006 Xbox Live?
Right. What, did we run out of characters in the tweet there? Oh, just put the 8 on the end of it there.
Yeesh.
A little bit of backstory on these. These first released earlier this year. They retail for $70. According to Nike, quote, it is a recovery shoe fully constructed with Nike Soft ReactX foam and also equipped with sticky rubber outsole for traction. The forefoot is designed with extra room for those with wider feet, and ventilation holes in the front add breathability. So if you're audio only, if you're not looking, it looks a lot like a clog, like a lot of the different slip-on clogs that have come out lately. I'm not going to lead the witness too much and say like it looks identical to this, but like if I got to describe it for you audio-wise, it looks like a clog. That's it's got a little scoop up towards the back of it though. It's a one piece. It doesn't have a strap around the back, has a Nike swoosh on the side, ventilation holes on the top. And there's like wavy ribbing going along the side of the shoe from the front to the back there running horizontally. So there's been a couple different colorways so far. Some vibrant ones like a red, a neon green, a light blue, and sort of like a dusty pink. But then there's also the triple black, the murdered out one if like you're relaxing, but you're relaxing tough. And a classic sandy taupe one. You got to love it. So, have you seen much of these? I haven't seen any of these in person yet, but I feel like online I'm seeing a splash about like how these are taken over.
Yeah, I haven't seen these in person. Definitely not. I mean, they look good. I'll be honest. Like they're very clean, very simple design. The recovery shoe aspect, I'm like, okay, that just again fits with Nike running. Like, okay,
they use the phrase recovery shoe like that's a real common thing. Is that a real common thing? Because
yes.
Okay. So non-athlete.
So here. A lot of times, because like typically if you are like in track, you're wearing like things with like spikes or something like that, or like a shoe that's not super comfortable to run in. So you probably like you may end up having probably like 3 shoes on you. You're probably showing up to the track meet in like an athletic shoe that's going to help you just like warm up, do some light running, some stretching, this, that, and the other. And then you're going to have something you're going to run in, which again is going to be more of a performance. So not super, super comfy. And then like you're going to have a recovery shoe, which is really just like a lot of times it's like slide, just something comfy.
That's what I'm saying.
So I think obviously Nike is trying to fancy it up because like
bring a performance aspect into it.
That's what I would do for cross country. When I would show up to the meet, I would have just like trainers on, just something to just like do some stretching in, to do like some light jogging in to warm up. Then I have the shoes I'm going to wear to run in. And then I've got Crocs that I'm just like slipping on because they're easy to slip on. You want something wide, real cushiony. So
right.
A recovery shoe is definitely something that you're going to have like in running. But like I said, typically the recovery shoe is either slides or Crocs.
Yeah.
So it's nothing like you're like, oh, this is going to be giving this benefit or reducing the strain here or whatever.
Well, and I know it's got the ReactX foam in it, right? Which is like, that's the technology in it. But like beyond that, it's like, kind of a clog. Seems like we're doing a clog here,
Yeah. And it's not uncommon to see, like you said, this single mold clog, not something with like, right. Yeah, with a strap or like an open back.
Mm-hmm. So what really popped these on my radar, though, was that over the weekend, StockX posted on Instagram saying that the Nike ReactX Rejuven8 was the top traded shoe on StockX in March. Nearly 10,000 pairs were traded across all colorways. That's a lot.
Wow.
Which is crazy for like, I'm pretty sure, again, this silhouette came out at the beginning of the year. I have not heard about this being a hot thing that's selling out. So I don't know if you can still get these at retail right now, but like, why are so many of these going through StockX is kind of like a question I have of like, are we flipping these? Is that actually a thing? Should we check?
Or is it just money laundering?
This turned from a casual sneaker podcast into we're busting this whole thing wide open right in front of you here. ReactX. Let's just do the whole gamut here. And no, see, lowest, this is like what they retail for. So I don't know why so many of the, like why people would be buying these. Cause like
specifically on StockX.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anyways, that's a whole aspect, but that's what brought it on my radar. But then can we switch back here?
Shots fired.
Just this week, what happened was that Crocs posted an Instagram story on Monday tagging Nike with the caption, "We're living rent-free in your head, huh?" Wild for Crocs to take a shot at the crown there. So
love it.
Let's go ahead. Let's get into it. Let's make good on our promise from the headline, from the title here. And I'll go ahead and I'll throw in the Yeezy Foam Runner as well, because I saw people in the comments
I'm glad you did.
Drawing comparisons there. How are we feeling about the new silhouette from Nike? Are these looking too close to clogs or Crocs? Maybe even the foam runners? Or is everything fair game in the world of clogs? Is it just inherently by nature of a clog and the shape of them, they're going to look similar here, right?
I do think that. I think it is just, it's going to be the nature of when you're making this. Again, I see more of the Yeezy Foam Runner. Now, I do think that like the ventilation holes on top is the iconic look of Crocs, I would say.
Yeah.
So it is kind of like this like mesh of them.
It kind of is. I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was pretty. Yeah, like I said, I can see taking majority silhouette from the Foam Runner, but then I could also see those ventilation holes. I'm like, yeah, that kind of looks like the Crocs, and you just kind of like stretched out in word. I
will say, prior to when I was just looking at the StockX post of the ReactX Rejuven8, I was kind of thinking, yeah, it kind of does remind me of a Foam Runner. But once I dropped the image in here and actually saw them side by side, I feel like I see it a little bit less. But I feel like you make a good point in that the Nike one kind of looks like the overall shape of the Foam Runner in the terms of like, and now granted, it's got more of like a scallop, a swoop from the toe up to the ankle, whereas like the Foam Runner is more of like a bump. But then from there, like that raise up on the heel kind of comes in and then pokes out again around the heel. and then flat on the bottom. It's got that bit of the foam runner, but the ventilation holes on the foam runner is like, that to me makes it look so much different from this Nike thing. But I think to your point,
agree.
The ventilation holes on the top of the Nike one make it look a lot like the Croc.
Yeah. I think the front half of the shoe is Crocs. The back half of the shoe is the Yeezy foam runner.
It's a mullet, basically.
Very true. I think I think ever since Salehi did what he did with Crocs, made it popular, everybody is like, I now have to make a foam runner. And yes, they're all eventually going to look very similar, take aspects, whatever it may be. I think that the new Rejuven8 from Nike, I do like it. I think I would probably like it more if it wasn't like, if it was an open back.
Yeah. It looks so shoey. Like
yes.
And so
that
shoey.
obviously seems like, at least from the marketing jargon, seems like that they want it to be as. So we want you to, this is something that you're gonna, like, after your race, you're gonna wear this on the track, in the bleachers, on the bus, walking here in front, things like that. So it does seem like that is where they're going, and I see that in the style. I think rather than Crocs being like, we live in your head rent free, I think it would have been more accurate if they were like, now everybody wants.
Okay, everyone wants a piece of the pie.
Yeah, everybody's trying to buy a ticket to the show. Everybody's trying to bite one off of me, things like that, because that I think is more true. Nobody was doing this. Crocs was the only one doing this. Everyone made fun of us. We got Salehi to make some fire stuff. I mean, I guess you could say Kanye was kind of going that route. With the Yeezy slides and all that kind of stuff. But obviously Salehi with Crocs took it to a level that is just, we don't see that. We haven't seen that.
You know what Crocs should have done?
Ooh.
They should have done a campaign with Mike Jones. They got Mike Jones. Back then, they didn't want it. Now it's hot.
I'm hot.
They're all on it. Crocs campaign with Mike. Crocs, if you're listening, we'll just take a small cut and we'll negotiate.
Yeah.
But they should have done a campaign with Mike Jones.
Boy.
I think you're right though. It's kind of like they had to. There's a great phrase about like people who do things first take the most flack for it. About like pioneers, right? Like they got a lot of pioneers die paving the way, and then like the cowboys get to come behind them and like reap the benefits of it all.
Gotcha.
That's not the phrase at all, but it's along those lines of like, they had to do it first. They had to take flack for a while of not being cool. They had to go out on a limb to bring Salehi in. And then when he did it, and then when Kanye did the foam runner, now everyone wants a piece of the pie.
I mean, that is very true.
To draw some fairness to the comparison here, I won't have them all on the same screen. So the Salehi Crocs, similarities here. I think that the similarities, like the thing that I see Nike drawing inspiration from, if anything, on this one versus the other two, are the raised textured lines and bumps and ridges around the shoe, right? Like the classic Crocs clog doesn't have any of that, and the foam runner does it, whereas the Salehi Crocs Pollux clog does. But also the other Salehi Crocs, what do they call these? The Saru sandals. These, to me, front of this is getting even closer to what Nike's doing. Now, granted, it has the ridge lines along the bottom. Also, just a fun fact, if anyone's listening, if you're a size 11, which I am, US 11, these are $35 on Essence right now. Not a bad call. They're not bad. The Salehi Crocs, but like they're a Salehi Croc. So
the Salehi, yeah. I mean, really just a strapless. That's a boneless Croc right there.
That's a boneless Croc, as it were. So anyways, I think you make a really good point that like the Nike ReactX Rejuven8 does not look like a direct Crocs ripoff, but it looks like it draws inspiration from the Crocs Classic Clog, the Foam Runner, and the Salehi Crocs Pollux Clog all got together and made a shoe. It would be this.
Yeah. I think it's just, I mean, it's so hard to come up with a foam runner, a foam clog that is going to. Crocs is, I mean, before Salehi, Crocs was big. Everyone knew the brand. Everybody knew it. So it is tough because I think no matter what brand does, and even if they're so unique or whatever it may be, everybody's gonna be like, okay, this is just Crocs,
right?
Because Crocs is the big one. It's the same thing.
A one-piece foam clog, yeah.
I mean, but Nike does a lot. If you make anything that is even remotely close to the Jordan 1 high, they're gonna be like, this is just.
You better lawyer up.
Like I said, Nike's the first one to point that out. But so it is tough. Yeah. I think, like I said, yes, is the ventilation holes, is that pretty dang similar? Again, I think you don't have those ventilation holes. This is like Crocs is not making that statement because again, that does not look anything like a Croc.
But also,
even a Salehi,
you'd be having some sweaty feet. That'd be one sweaty recovery. No ventilation holes on that thing.
No ventilation, yeah. And so that's another thing. Like, how do you do ventilation holes different that doesn't look like a Croc or a foam runner?
I'm gonna say if you want to do them different from the Croc, you make the foam runner, right? Like that's what they did there. Yeah. So
exactly. So and I mean, hey, Crocs could even they could have tried, Big Brother in them and be like, hey, I see you,
respect,
game vanity or something like that of like, man, I do look good over there too. Like, something along those lines. Okay. I just think the live rent free in your head is I'm kind of like, I don't really think so, but maybe I'm like, I don't know. I think the Crocs could have responded differently and I think it would have made more sense, but
I think it's a good way for them to draw some attention to their brand as a irreverent, fun brand. Not so much like the top dog, the pioneers in like this footwear game, but just in like we're kind of fun and silly and reverent. Like we have a wacky time on social media. Yeah.
Or like what would have been like, because I'm also just like, well, you took a picture of the shoes. If anything, you're just promoting the Nike shoe because you took a picture and then posted on yours.
Yeah. It's a video. They go back and forth. But for the podcast, we just have the screenshot.
What would have been funny is like you open the box to this Nike one, but you open it to
your own
Crocs on the inside. And you're like, or you do the Pam Beasley meme,
We're doing a lot of free marketing for Crocs. Like we should have been in the boardroom. I'm standing by the Mike Jones campaign. That would have been.
So here's the thing. I like your Mike Jones because then like 2 months later, you do a chopped and screwed version of the original ad. And you're like, wow, this is just easy.
Yeah.
So Crocs, we don't have to be invited to the dinner table, but we want a to-go box, if that makes sense.
I want to sit next to Mike Jones. I want to talk to Mike Jones for a little bit.
Oh, if he's at the dinner, I just don't think he would go. You know what I mean? He would get invited.
He probably calls it in. I get that. I get that. Yeah. So, final verdict, not a ripoff of Crocs. I don't think so. I think it looks different enough.
No.
I do wish the Nike one did not have that little up on the heel tab there and kind of went more towards the back. Not like a mule, but like just wrapped around the base of your heel just to look a little less sneakery. But I get if they're trying to go the angle of like recovery shoe, then like it's got to look more shoeish. So sure, whatever. But no, final verdict, not a Crocs ripoff. Different enough.
No.
Court adjourned. Thank you everyone for checking out another episode of Shoe Podcast. You can catch us online at shoepodcast.com, across social media at Shoe Podcast, everywhere except for where we're not. Wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching the show, please do us a favor and partake in your favorite flavor of engagement. Hit the subscribe, the follow, the like, the comment, or don't be afraid to hit the all-you-can-eat buffet and indulge in all of those. We'd take it. We'd love it. Helps our little show of ours. Lastly, if you want to continue the conversation with us and friends and fans of the show, you can do so through our Discord linked in the episode description down below. Whew, I'm getting better at that. I mean, I guess that is the inherent effect of doing it like once a week at this rate, twice a week. We've been doing the episodes. So not too shocking, but anyways, what do you want to leave the people with before we go?
If you were going to be an item in a kitchen, what item in that kitchen would you be?
Did we do this one? No?
I don't think so.
I think you said toaster. I think you did this, and I think you said toaster.
Oh, wow.
I'm not good enough to go through all the past episodes we've done recently and find the clip and edit it in right here. Like a better podcast would do that, but
black and white green on it.
You see the vision.
Gotcha.
I think you said toaster. I think it was Ben's episode.
Okay.
No, Ben's episode was candle, but I think you said toaster at some point. I thought for some reason you were about to ask flavor of ice cream.
That would go, but no, I'm going to say if you were going to be a store in a mall, what store in the mall would you be?
Okay.
And I think I'm Old Navy.
Classic, reliable, has the staples.
Yeah, but not too standouty. You know. Yeah. I get, you know me, but I'm not center stage. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
You'll be like, I know that guy, but I'm kind of more off to the side of the stage. You know what I mean?
Okay. I like that for you.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you? What store are you?
I don't know if I want to say Gap just because I worked at Gap and I kind of enjoy that. But I feel like Gap and Old Navy, I mean, they're owned by the same company, have that same thing, right? Of just like classic staples, not really trying to like be that fancy. I'm not trying to be J. Crew. I'm not trying to be Banana Republic. Like I'm not trying to offer you anything for a nicer occasion. We're just here. We're consistent. It's going to go with whatever you have already going on.
Boom. Yeah.
Gap and Old Navy right here.
Hey, pal.
Also, Auntie Anne's. I would also be an Auntie Anne's because those pretzels are irresistible.
Well, you smell that cinnamon they're dusting on it.
Don't get me started. All right.
In the middle of the mall, too.
Thank
you, everyone. Got the food court?
Nope. I was trying to rap, but honestly, trying to understand why Auntie Anne's got a spot outside of the food court is a pretty important question. So if you made it this far in the episode, leave a comment down below. What's your theory? How did Auntie Anne's get out? How did they break through the generational chains of the food court to be next to like what? Dillard's? How'd they land that? Let us know.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for checking out another episode of Shoe Podcast. We will be back next week with another one, presumably. I'm your co-host, Ryan Landry.
I'm your co-host, Tanner Young.
See you next time. Enjoy your weekend. Have fun. Do something.